we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
Well, all right, welcome to episode 79 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. So today, I don't remember what day I put out the last episode, but I think I should be good for getting these out on a weekly-ish basis. I got a little travel coming, but nothing too insane. On the way to the airport again, of course, today. And actually, you know what? The last time I was on a trip, it occurred to me that so many of these episodes are in the car. And the early ones, I was just hanging out at the pad and recording, and it was cool, and it sounded a lot better, I think. You know, the car audio is not superior in any way, shape, or form. But it's just been a matter of time, man. I just have no time. It's like I wake up every day and I'm late for something already, dude. Getting out of bed. Oh, let's go. And I mean, truth be told, I dig recording an episode here and there, but it's carving out the time, dude, to sit down and do some proper prep and do up a good product. It's a ball break. But, doing it in the car, this is easy. Because some of this shit, I swear, I'm like Rain Man with some of this shit. I mean, in the way that, I'd shit my pants and drive into traffic. But other components of this, I think, I got a pretty good handle on a lot of these things that are going on. And I guess, really, it's having been there to see the effects of some of this shit firsthand really makes it oh, I see how this works. And it's kind of I think it's kind of seeing how a magic trick works, where you're okay, I don't know this exact trick, but I know the mechanisms of how this bullshit runs. So yeah, I got a pretty good idea what's going on and what's coming next. But I thought today I wanted to review one quick question that came up in the chat about driving around in third world locales, Afghanistan, Iraq, etc. And then of course the quick review of some of the wacky shit that's going on out there. And again, I mean, there's stuff going on everywhere, but it's really a lot of this. So much of this seems to hinge on the Israel and Russia situation. The China thing is I mean, that really seemed like it was going to be a thing, it was going to be an issue for a little while. This could be the big thing, and I guess they're talking about at some point, yeah, maybe China does something. But as far as something we would expect from us or from Israel, just an all of a sudden kaboom, there you go, heavy hitting, incursion into this or that territory. It just doesn't seem to be their style. It seems to be a very, very slow, methodical, fucking Chinese, kind of a copy of a copy of a copy. So that seems to be kind of, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. People are saying by 2027. I mean, it seems like a little bit of a stretch to look that far ahead. But I guess we'll see how that goes. But the other shit, we'll get to the other shit because I got some thoughts on that. And I won't say white pill, but maybe not a lock your doors now pill type thing. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about this Civil War movie because I had the chance to look at that, man. And it was all the reviews I saw, right? Probably the reviews you saw. We're this movie fucking chugged. They left so much on the table. There was so much that could have been done. It was kind of canned. It was kind of this, kind of that. I'll say there was a lot that was a little bit on the canned side. And I will say that there's a lot to see. There's a good bit to see. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in due course. So first, the the traffic question, the TQ, the traffic question. This dude, so somebody, and maybe it was me, I think, I can't fucking remember, posted in the chat that like a video of somebody driving through Iraq, and it was a trip, man, because I saw it, and I actually had a video of driving through Afghanistan, and it was a trip when I was there because I had this low vis car, which is basically like it looks like a regular car, right? It's designed to look like a regular car, but it's got a little bit of armor, and maybe it's got some video, some audio, this kind of shit. And I had that, and I was cruising through Afghanistan, and like, so people are, if they look and stare at you, they'll see that you're American. And me at the time, like, I had a sweet beard, and the place where I was, it was far enough north where, like, there's people there, like, you would run into them and you're like, did they just snatch you off the streets in England? Like, they have like a red, like, not dyed red, because some of those fuckers do that, but like a red beard, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, they look like a white person, and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? And they just look at you wonky, like, what's the problem? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, one of these things is not like the other. That's the problem. So you could get by. Like, if somebody came and stared at you and they're like, you look a little different, you're definitely different. You don't look like you're starving, and your breath's not kicking. They'd figure out you're American. But otherwise, like, you just sail on by. So I could kind of cruise and just video. Like, I had the video deal switched on. And man, it's a fucking trip. But this video that was posted in the chat, it was like a total flashback, man, because there's like, it's fucking mayhem, dude. There's no real order to it. It's kind of like walking through a mall, and there's people coming, but you kind of figure it out. Like, get the fuck out of the way. Don't be a fucking weirdo, And there would be times where, like, if they had to work on the road somewhere, where they'll just put rocks, like they'll just put these, medium-sized rocks in the road. And that works to them, it works like cones, but it'll divert you, like, into oncoming traffic. So if you're driving and you see, and I'm driving, I got this interpreter, right? And this guy's a fucking riot. But he's like, you just go, boss, just make your way, go to the other side, And I'm like, all right. So I just go to the other side. And people will like, oh, okay, here comes somebody, and just move out of the way. And in the States, it'd be like, if you're driving and all of a sudden here comes a car headed right at you, and granted, you ain't doing like fucking 60. You're moving fucking slow, dude. It's Afghanistan. The roads are not, it ain't the fucking Autobahn in here. But you're cruising and there's a car coming at you. You just kind of like, oh, they must be doing construction somewhere. And you just kind of move over a little and you work it out. And like, I ain't going to try to tell you like, it's better, man. Why don't we do it that way? No, it's fucking third world as fuck. But it's like they're on this fucking third world wavelength or whatever. The cars moving down the middle of the road, and it's everywhere is like a lane going this way and a lane going that way. This ain't, no fucking 4-lane highway or any of this shit. But you would be cruising, and there's like you, and then outside of you, there's like a little tuk-tuk, like, what do you call, I don't know, like the little tuk-tuk, the little scooter taxis are on the outside of you. And then outside of them would be like donkey carts, like no shit, like a donkey pulling a cart. And then outside of that would be not so much bicycles, but just people walking around carrying shit on their head, how they do. And dude, the first time when I just got there, like, everybody's got the fucking shamag, like the do-rag fucking thing. And I saw this cat, like's got it all on his head, and he's like got a piece of it in his mouth. And I'm like, what the fuck savages are these, And then after I was there for a while, like, I'm cruising, and like that dust and shit gets in your mouth, and I'm like, I find myself with that thing, like, I'm holding it over my mouth, and then finally I'm just holding it in my teeth, and I'm like, oh, I see how it is, savages. Now here's me, I'm a savage too, right? But yeah, dude, this video that the dude put up, that was in the video from Iraq of a guy driving a Humvee. So the guy's driving, and I can't remember where it said he was at, but the guy's cruising, and like people are in the way, and the dude's just like bang, like just knocking him and pushing him out of the fucking way. And somebody had posted, like, what the fuck is this shit, man? Like, why you invade somebody's country and you just fucking run into them and shit. So I wanted to put 2 cents in on that, man. And I mentioned it in the chat, but like for the cats that aren't in the chat, it's an interesting listen, man, because it's also an interesting thought process on how things don't just stay the same, man. Like there's an ebb and a flow to any kind of a confrontation, right? And there's spots to take advantage and there's things to watch for and this kind of shit. So I thought this would be a good spot to mention it. So the deal here is that the guy's cruising in traffic and somebody gets in front of him and they fuck around. And like usually you're not rolling in one Humvee. There'll be like 2, 3, whatever. But the deal is like you could be there, you deploy and maybe you're there 4 months, 6 months, a year. Usually guys that are there a year, you ain't really going anywhere. You're hanging out on some base somewhere playing fucking Madden. If you were there for a year and you were getting it on, I take that back. I did see dudes that were there. Like there was a Marine outpost we stopped through, and those fuckers were living like French Foreign Legion, like out in the fucking bush for a fucking year. That's hard living, dude. The rest of the scene, though, there's a lot of cats that, like, if you deployed for a year, you were going to be there. Like, you're just hanging out playing Madden, dude. You're just going, getting fucking Subway. There are dudes that are gutting it out, no mistake. But that was just my experience. I know most of my deployments were 6 months. And by the time I hit, like, 5 months or so, I was like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, shoot, don't shoot, whatever. I'm not listening to this fucking brief. Get blown up, don't get blown up. Like, you can't pay attention no more. Like, it doesn't matter what you're fucking telling me. You're telling me where the Holy Grail is. It's not mattering. I'm not going to listen, dude. I'm not hearing this shit. But you get there and you got this learning phase where you got to kind of learn the rules of the road, man. Like, not just on the road, but I mean just in general. And the deal was like, there's some shit you can do, some shit you should never do. There's some shit you can tolerate, and there's some shit you better not ever fucking stand for, or you're going to get yourself, or worse, you're going to get somebody else fucking smoked. So the deal was like, in terms of like shit you should never do, like if you were out and about, cruising around in town, or you're out there on some kind of foot patrol even, like one thing, the way I had learned it was dudes called it ballooning. And it's sort of like if you were going to go shooting and you tied a balloon to something, like on a string, right? And now you're going to try to shoot it. Like, it's hard to fucking do because it's not still. It's like bobbling around a little bit. So, like, the deal was, like, they say balloon, man, balloon. And you see lots of regular Joes, like, they won't do it, man. They'll just fucking stand there. They'll just stand there and wait to get shot. But if you got to be still and you're not moving, like, the least you could do is just, like, kind of move around to and fro, man. Like, just, not like fucking breakdancing, but just be a harder target. Like, just move-a-dee-move a little bit, like, make it difficult. And the other thing was, like, be by a corner, dude. I always hung out by corners. Because if somebody starts shooting, you got 2 ways you can run, and you got cover. If they, if it's your unlucky day, and you're sitting right in the middle of an L ambush, and, like, fuck, man, they got you, and you weren't ballooning, you were just standing there like 1 o'clock half struck, and they're like, let's shoot that fucking guy. And like, you got people opening up on you from 2 fucking angles. Like, it's your unlucky day, friend. But otherwise, like, a corner is a really good spot to hang out. And if they're going to start shooting, they'll just kind of write you off. Like, that guy's probably going to get away, dude. Like, if we open up on him, he's already by a corner, he's going to disappear, he's moving anyway. And fuck that guy. Let's shoot at the vehicle, something else. So it's making yourself a less appealing target than the guy next to you. It's just the smart money. The other deal was like windows, dude. Windows will get you smoked, dude. I know at least 2 guys that got smoked through windows, man, and it fucking sucks. One guy, you can only do so goddamn much, man. One guy got smoked, like, from another building through a window, but it's just, like, you go by a window, dude. If you're near a window that, you kind of feel that daylight coming at you, and, like, bro, move past, man. Fucking just get the fuck out of there. Don't hang by a window, So windows are a no-no. You don't approach the fucking... it's kind of fucking bullshit, but, like, fucking with women and kids, dude, one, there's not really a point. They will fuck around. Like, women would fuck around, dude. They'll fuck around. They'll try you. They'll hide shit under their fucking, penguin suit or whatever. So you'd have to get at them with like a metal detector or this kind of shit. These people will fuck around, dude. But generally, like, you don't smack them around because you're doing what you'd call recruiting for the insurgency. So it's like somebody might have been cool with you. They're like, yeah, maybe these Americans are here to help me out, man. But now here's this guy smacking my sister around. Fuck this guy, dude. The next time, somebody comes to town, hey, who wants to take a shot at some Americans? Oh, it's me. Give me that thing. I'll fucking do it. Guy smacked my sister around. So, just don't do that shit. Maybe she has it coming, but, save it for some other time, right? It's just, you're making your own life more difficult. So, yeah, that was like some of the shit to don't do. Or some of the shit to do, or whatever. But so that's like some of the shit to do, some of the shit to don't do. As far as traffic, man, like out cruising through town, the shit you can't fucking stand for was like, if you're cruising, the way these fuckers would operate was like they can't go toe to toe with you in what you call a symmetrical type of a way, right? Like they can't roll out with their Humvees, they can't roll out with their tanks. They got to come from a different angle, man. So the angle they come from is like, you never see me coming. I'm fucking here. I'm here like I was always here, and then fucking kabang, right? So you're sort of like the Agent Smith in the Matrix, right? Like it's just regular people, and then they turn into something fucking horrible, and they're tearing your head off. You're like, shit, right? So that's kind of their vibe. Fuck, dude, this is fucked up. Dude, I'm in some fucked up traffic on the way to the fucking airport. This is weak fucking sauce. Anyway, the deal with the airport. The deal with traffic then is that, like, you had to get there and learn the rules of the road. These fuckers are there every day of the week, man. And, like, they ain't on orders, like, they can cruise or come or go or whatever, but they know the deal. And all of these kind of, bunny ears, unwritten rules, these are all there because at some point somebody got smoked for doing shit the wrong way. So, like, when you're cruising through town, like, the deal is don't fucking get in the middle of the convoy. Don't fuck with the American vehicles. Like, you got your little white HAAJI car or whatever, your Daewoo Prince or your fucking Duck or whatever the fuck they call it. You don't fucking cruise out there and get in the middle of the convoy like you're going to roll along with, yeah, what's up? Even if you're just being cool and like, hey, what's up, bro? What's up? Because they do that shit sometimes. Like, they run alongside or like, hey, what's up? And that shit's funny sometimes if there's, just one or two dudes. But if they start fucking around, then you got like, hey, get back. Fuck off, and then you get a warning shot, dude, and the next one's going in your fucking dome. But the deal was like, what these cats would do is they'd get that shit going. We're like, hey, what's up? What's up? And now there's people alongside. Now, maybe a week or two later, there's a car alongside. Now there's 2 or 3 cars alongside. Now you're just kind of going in between traffic because, the guys you turned over with, they were saying, hey, don't smash into guys. It's not fucking cool. So now you're just sitting in traffic like a fucking chump. So the next thing you fucking know is you're sitting in traffic, and now here comes some guy in a car fucking low riding and just fucking kablam, like you're getting fucking blown up. And why? Because you weren't fucking running guys off the road. And you could say, like, maybe not everybody knows that, dude. Everybody fucking knows that you do not fucking do it. All right? Dude, I have personally, and I ain't fucking giving up anything dodgy here, man. Like, I've fucking sent people into the bushes fucking spinning. Zing, 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 zing. Like, yeah, you should have not done what you did, dude. We had these up armored pickups I cannot find their like, man. They were real fucking cool. But they were like pickup trucks, but they were up armored and they were heavy as fuck, and I don't know what they had in them for an engine. Like, I didn't get time to really fuck around with them and like, hey, what's going on here? But like, these things had some ass to them, man, and they had like the big cow catcher deal on the front. And we're hauling ass through town. And one time, like, some of the shit I was doing, like, I was rolling Han Solo, so I'd be like out booking in one of these things and like, woof, like just jetting through town real quick. And this motherfucker in a fucking hatchback, Daewoo Prince or whatever, looks right at me and is like, doo-doo-doo-doo, like I'm just gonna pull right in front of you. And like, motherfucker, it's not a low vis vehicle. Like, who the fuck I am. You know what you're doing. And he fucking wedges out there. Bang! And like fucking... And that dude spun like goddamn air hockey, like zing, into the fucking woods. I'm like, all right, you get what you fucking get, Holmes. I don't know what you want from me, you know? But shit like that, or pointing a cell phone at us, man. Like, if you got a phone out, you know, and if it's like, I don't know, maybe if you were cruising through town, like if you were hustling through town, and it's like you're rolling Han Solo, and there's no traffic, and you're moving kind of quick, and there's like, you know, there's some girl over there that's walking that way looking at a phone, you know, like, not her, you know, but if you're moving slow and somehow these cats know, I mean, it ain't like just cell phone traffic. It's like they fucking know somehow. Like, there's a weird wavelength thing that goes on in the third world. Like, they're on this fucking HAAJI ESP or some shit. I got ESPN. But, man, they know, dude, and they'll come out of their houses, like you're rolling through a village or some shit, and they'll fucking come out of their houses and stand there at the side of the road just to see you go by. Because, I mean, you're kind of like a fucking UFO, dude. Like, you got all this magic shit on you, and they got fucking flip-flops and a fucking steel pot. That's really all they have. And you're rolling through town, and they're like, God damn, the circus is here, and they want to come out and see it, dude. So they're not all fucking around. But, you know, you cruise through there, and now if there's some cat that's like... And you kind of recognize the pantomime of the fuck around, you know? Like, when the shit starts to go... Like, some cat's got his fucking phone out, and now that HAAJI ESP starts kicking, and people start snatching kids off the street. What the fuck is this shit? People are snatching kids off the street. People are getting indoors, and all kinds of crazy shit is going on. And it's like, something's about to fucking go, dude. And then you'll see a motherfucker with a cell phone. Like, this in this instance, this is the fucking cell phone guy. Right, so this guy might be fucking calling, you know, hey, they're over here, they're over there. This guy might be lighting off an IED because they'd have this shit rigged up to IEDs. But the deal was like, you got a fucking cell phone out and it's fuck around time. You're going first, dude. So it was like if somebody's, you know, you're just cruising, there's a guy over there on a fucking, you know, he ain't looking at you. He's honestly minding his own fucking business. He's going that way. He doesn't give a shit. You ain't got to fucking dump that guy. But when the vibe comes out, man, and you fucking feel it, dude, when that shit comes out and there's a fucking guy and he's looking at you and looking at the phone, they're coming, and like, wrong fucking answer, dude. Zap! You're going to fucking pay. So these are like the fucking rules, man. And, you know, to be clear, dude, I think that whole thing was a wasted fucking expedition. I think, you know, Afghanistan was a graveyard of empires for a reason, because I think when you run out of usefulness for the tiny hats, they're like, all right, go fucking... self-immolate over there in Afghanistan. Go find something to fucking fight about. And like, you'll go over there like, fight people that don't give a shit. And they don't give a fuck. They'll just fight until, you know, they got nothing else going. So that's, I mean, it was a wasted fucking effort anyway. Iraq, who the fuck's kidding who, man? Why you got to beat up on a guy with a cool mustache? Always the guys with the good mustaches. Why's it got to be this way? They didn't do shit to you. But, yeah, So yeah, man, traffic. But moving on to the other shit going on, dude, I guess they're still talking this shit. They're still talking this shit about we're going to seize Russian assets and we're going to take that shit, and there's some kind of a way that we're going to take that and make that a way to fund this Ukrainian fucking horsecock. And dude, I mean, at this point, man, all I can really assume is that you're trying to fucking burn this thing to the ground. And American white people are just too good-natured and too good-hearted and too much put out, you know, in the DNA, that they just won't fucking lay down and let it happen, you know. But they just keep humping this thing, and now they're talking about, man, I can't even remember at this point who it was from or what it was for, but there was another, I want to say it was like 60 million or some kind of, maybe it was 200 million, some tall stack of money that they were going to send over here to Ukraine for some kind of bullshit. But at this point, it's actually fucking France leading the way with this Ukraine thing. And some of the analysis I heard is that Macron, that short sodomy enthusiast married to a much, much older woman, is really focusing on this foreign type thing, their foreign policy, because their domestic policy is so completely fucked, right? I mean, the what, like the 1930s German meme of like, hey, you know, in 100 years, this is what France will look like. It's a bunch of African dudes in top hats looking at like a little fancy Dan lighting a cigarette for a French woman, you know, in like this museum exhibit type thing. Like, this is going to be France. Dude, it sure as shit is. You know, I mean, I can't count. I mean, dude, look at the French national team. Like, le football. Regardez le football. And it's a bunch of black dudes, is all it is. And that ain't to say that, like, yeah, you know, if it fits, it ships, and, you know, you can hang out here, just be cool. No, dude, like, you've been legitimately replaced. Like, who the fuck's kidding who here? So their domestic policy is a complete shit show. So he's focusing on the foreign policy, and I mean, they're really humping it for this, like, hey man, we're gonna send advisors, we're gonna send all this shit, and hey man, is there a way we can make this an Article 5 thing? Because in that case, it would suck the rest of NATO in, and then we'd all be deep in this shit. But you know, it's the scary part of that is that would almost work for a whole lot of places. I mean, the U.S. included, because this whole election thing, like, what a catastrophe. What a catastrophe. You know, who do you really have to choose from? You got Zion Dawn and this vegetable, you know? So it's sort of like the South Park thing, man, like shit sandwich versus vegetable. But if they can keep the vegetable in there, then I guess it means that, like, the people, you know, bunny ears behind the scenes, you know, hinter den Feinmachen, they'll just get to keep pulling the strings. But looking at Israel, this shit has gotten exponentially dicey. They've been hitting into Lebanon for a good while now, and now they're like they've already been hitting inside Rafah for a good long while. And if you're not up to speed or don't remember, Rafah is like that last province of Gaza, that last, I don't know, district or whatever, that's right next to Egypt. And, you know, Egypt, great fucking job, you know, having some balls. And, like, you know, Hezbollah's been making some moves, but they're not going real fucking heavy. And there was a bunch of countries that were like, I'm fucking telling you, you know, first it was boots on the ground, and then it was, you know, if you go into Rafah, it was how many, I don't remember how many fucking red lines there were, but Rafah was definitely one of the red lines, like, for Egypt, and I want to say Qatar. I can't remember. There was a bunch of countries that were like, I'm fucking telling you, man. I'm fucking telling you. And they've just gone and done whatever the fuck they want anyway. So they're operating inside Rafah now, and they're striking well into Lebanon. And some of the talk is that, you know, they want this greater Israel thing. Your victim card is already cashed in, so why not just go balls to the fucking wall and let's fucking move into Lebanon, let's move into Syria, let's take the West Bank, like, as one piece, and that'll be that. And, you know, and tactically, you know, or strategically, I guess, that makes as much sense as anything. I mean, because it is what it is, man. Like, you're already the bad guy. Everybody is sick of your shit. You got no friends left in the fucking world except the U.S., and the U.S. is starting to run fucking thin, man. We sent all of our shit and all of our money to fucking Ukraine. And then we've got all these commitments all over the fucking globe. So, like, how much help can we really possibly be? You know, we've still got that nuclear deterrent, but now with Russia and China still on the table, how much of a deterrent really are you? And I think this most recent dick dance with this fucking pier that I guess was like a $320 million temporary pier installed, you know, somewhere on the coast of Gaza. And dude, first it broke away and was floating around and all fucked up, but then I guess somehow it got fixed or fixed-ish, but then it also played a role in this rescue of some fucking dingbat Israeli chick that they're calling, like, So this is where the bullshit comes in, is that, like, one, the U.S. puts this shit out there as like, oh, it's humanitarian aid. And I'll tell you this, you know, I was talking earlier about, like, there's shit you always do and there's shit you never do, you know, as an operator or in wartime. This is one of these things that you do not fucking do, man. Like, you don't go in under the guise of humanitarian efforts and then do some operator shit. You don't fucking do it, man, because what this does is, one, people that are going in as legit, like, hey, I'm just here to help, you know, like kids that got fucking fucked up or something. I'm just trying to help these people out. Now you put them under the microscope, and if there's anything out of whack, like a little bit wonky, like maybe a guy is a fucking hobbyist target shooter on the weekend and he's got one fucking shell casing in his, you know, in his bag or some shit, they're going to be like, yeah, these aren't fucking humanitarian. These are fucking soldiers. And now they're all getting rounded up. So you put these people really under the microscope, you get them fucked up. You know, not that Israel wasn't fucking those people up anyways, but they're, you know, obviously they're a special case, a very special case. But it's just something that you don't fucking do. So you don't ever say that you're like the Peace Corps. You don't say we're humanitarian workers. Any of this kind of shit is just not done. It's very much frowned upon. Oh, and the other reason for that is that it completely robs anybody who was going to get help. So you were going to get some fucking help. Say, you know, there's a bunch of kids get fucking blown up, which just, you know, I can dig the take that baby rats don't grow up to be bunnies, and there's merit to that argument. But I'm also going to say, like, man, war's for warfighters, all right? If you're going to do that shit, you're going to piss off a lot of fucking people. I mean, shit, Israel, case in point, right? Like, you ain't got a friend in the fucking world. And, you know, you could have, you know, from a strictly strategic perspective of just this thing in a vacuum, this situation, you could have played this thing slowly and properly, and every world leader would have backed you and said, like, yeah, they're doing the right thing. This whole thing was like, you know, what Hamas did, this was an atrocity, bro, and it can't stand, bro, and Israelis are, they're doing it the right way, bro, and minimizing collateral damage and so on. But they ain't done that. They could have took a few extra months, done it right, probably got a lot of funding and a lot of help from a lot of places, but instead you had to do it fucking now, and you burned your fucking victim card, and now you're shit out of luck and fresh out of friends. So, I mean, you choose your own adventure, shithead. You did it to yourself. Circle jerking back to this fucking, this bunny ears hostage rescue. This is the kind of shit that really, well, it pisses me off, and it pisses everybody off. Because one, this fucking broad that they rescued was was actively serving in the Israeli military. So you're not a fucking hostage, you're a prisoner of war. And from the looks of it, she was getting fed pretty fucking well. Like, this chubby Jew bitch wasn't missing fucking meals. Alright, this bitch is fucking meaty. Alright, you're coming out of fucking, you know, bunny ears captivity, you know, and her biggest complaint was what? They made me wash dishes. Oh God, they made me wash dishes, and sometimes they would come in the room without even knocking on the door. Like, what the fuck is this shit? You know? And you compare that to how many Palestinians did they say they killed in that operation? I want to say it was like 200. But looking at Spectre's Telegram channel, this dude's like a trained journalist, and he had a really, really excellent analysis on the use of active and passive language and the use of different, I guess you'd say, journalistic or literary devices or lexicon devices in reporting on this shit. So what he was talking about was, and I don't have the headline in front of me, but he's got this New York Times article, and the way the thing reads out, like, you would just look at it, it was something like, Israel rescues 20-year-old hostage, 200 plus Palestinians reported killed, is the headline, right? And so you would just naturally, you know, you would look at this and you just think, yeah, well, okay, I see. Like, you're pulling the data out of it yourself. But he kind of breaks this down, and man, and this is it kind of does a lot to explain the way these fucking snakes operate. So they're talking about Israel rescues 20-year-old hostage. So this is Israel does something positive, rescues 20-year-old hostage. So they're very much like personalizing this person and I don't know, she was 20. I don't give a fuck. 20, 22, 32. I don't give a shit. It's not the point. But the point is that Israel does something positive. It's very definitive. They did it. It was positive, and it's very cut and dry. Like, this is very clearly cemented in your head. Israel does this positive thing, hostage. They're not going to tell you like she was actively serving in the Israeli military, because that would make her a prisoner of war. No, she's a hostage. All right. So the next line then, 200 plus Palestinians reported killed. So this is when it's reportedly, right? So it's 200 plus. It's a non-specific number. It could be 200, or maybe it was said like approximately 200. That would be even shystier. 200 give or take. A couple, a few dozen, several score, whatever. It's a non-specific number. So you trying to get your head around it is like, well, was it 200? Was it 201? Was it 198? I don't fucking know. It's some Palestinians. Reported, this is hearsay. So when we're saying this is hearsay, this is like, well, this could be right. It could be totally made up. It could be totally bullshit. But it's, somebody said somewhere that there was, 200 plus killed. And now this last piece, killed, they were killed. And there's different words for it in different languages, but in English we call it, what do we call it? Transitive and intransitive verbs. It's also described as reflexive and non-reflexive, but the idea here is that when you say I did something, I ate donuts, right? So I did something to those donuts. If we do this in a reflexive way or in an intransitive way, these donuts were eaten. See, the donuts were eaten. I'm not saying I ate them. I'm just saying they were eaten. So these Palestinians, they were killed. I'm not saying who killed them. Like, you can conclude this on your own. You can figure it the fuck out, right? You don't have to be a rocket surgeon here. You know that these Israelis did this, right? But we're not going to put that directly on them. We're going to change this around. Like, they were killed. Maybe it was in a fire. Maybe it was from injuries while running away. Maybe they were trying to shoot a missile out of a hospital and it blew up in their face. Right? I mean, how many times have we heard this kind of song and dance? Like, they do it to themselves. God is striking down the enemies of the chosen people. But that's just in one sentence, just one little headline, right? So if you give a guy an entire paragraph or an entire newscast, and he's trained to talk this way, and he's aware of these devices, how much programming is getting shoved into your head? Where you're going to naturally think of it. And hey, like, I don't want to move to fucking Gaza tomorrow. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying that, like, how much has been shoved into your head that, like, these people over here, these are the eternal victims. And these people over here, they ain't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. They just getting picked on. It ain't their fault. Right? So it just bears consideration, man. And if you're going to be a fucking victim, and I mean, I guess this is really the silver bullet, I guess, is that if you are the victim, if you really are just minding your own business, then why is every I dotted and every T crossed to always give you this advantage, some kind of an advantage, where everybody else looks like an asshole, you look like a victim, everyone's got to do for you, you don't have to do shit for anybody else? I mean, dude, I was thinking the other day, like, I had seen some of this shit of like, well, I don't want to send money to Israel. What are you, some kind of anti-Semite? And I'm thinking, like, the U.S., let's not bullshit each other here, like you and me, right? This is white people keeping this train on the fucking tracks. We not only support ourselves, like, we not only keep our own country up and running, we keep a whole population of freeloading, useless fucks that live in this country functioning and alive as well. Apart from that, how many countries around the world are we keeping afloat? We send food, we send money, we send arms, we send all this shit, we send technology, we take their idiot population in to train them up to be quasi-useful citizens. They can go back home and do whatever the fuck they do. They can't even keep themselves afloat. We're keeping ourselves plus most of the world afloat. Well, most of the third world anyway. How great would this fucking place be? How great would it be if we were like, you know what? It's sink or swim time. You're going to have to fucking figure this shit out on your own. I've done all I can for you. I gave you a hand up. I can't give you a hand out, right? I've done everything I can for you. It's time to fucking work it out on your own. Best of luck. I'm willing to bet that this global population problem would get solved in about an afternoon, for one. And two, the quality of life here would be the shit. Now, as for the people here, you know, I'm of the mind that, like, probably there's a lot of people that would be just fine living in, you know, what many of us would consider poverty level existence. That's just what they're used to. That's what they're fine with. But for my money, if you turn off the Gibbs and then you stop stealing from everyone, you know, like, hey, I'm not gonna take half of all the money you make, you know, through payroll taxes and then income taxes and then sales taxes and you owning something taxes and all these other fucking taxes. We're not going to be sending money around the world, so I don't need to take that money from you. You go work some shitbox job. You live however you're going to fucking live. However you live, it's on fucking you, man. And if you fucking starve to death, that's on you too. And if you want to go back to wherever the fuck you got here from, we'll send your fucking ass back there. I thought it would be really cool to, like, repatriate people with just like an airborne program where, like, here, you get one free static line shoot. We're going to rig your dumb ass up like luggage, and then we're going to fly over, like, the coast of, you know, whatever, Ivory Coast. And we're just going to push your ass out. And, like, I have never jumped out of airplane before. You will have now. You'll be fine. It's easy. Dude, we put luggage out like this. You'll be just fine. You're fine. Keep your feet and knees together, dipshit. But, yeah, man, you don't want to make your way back? We'll send you back. It's no problem. And I would bet this place would be so fucking cool. It, like the little proud to be an American. Like, I'd fucking sing that shit day and night, man. How great would it fucking be? Like, all my, you know, I'm not getting my pocket picked no more. I'm not getting hassled constantly. I don't got to worry about walking down the street. It would be a good scene. It would be a real good scene. I don't think any of that shit's ever going to happen. Anyway, though, this whole Gordian knot of who's going to do what and when and all this shit, it's all extremely dodgy because there are some of these countries, I mean, like China, for instance, dude, like, everybody really kind of sweats the load on, you know, China, man, and they got the numbers and it's an up and coming this, that, or the other fucking thing. But like I've said to a lot of people in a lot of places, I've seen these motherfuckers parallel park. And, you know, I think the average American, even the average chubby American, can take these fucks about 10 at a swipe. So, I mean, yeah, they got this tech. They're a bunch of fucking nerds. But I've also, like made in China is a fucking joke for a reason, dude. All right? And if these motherfuckers really decided, like, you know what, I just decided I don't like America no more, I want to fuck around, I could see it going really bad really fucking fast. You know, because, like, now who's going to buy your shit? Who's going to buy all this wacky shit from you? Fucking nobody, dude. We're your biggest customer. So I think in terms of, you know, China's final warning, they really have to weigh the options on, like, just how bad do I want to fuck around? Because at the end of the day, I think the answer is going to be not that bad, dude. I don't want it that fucking bad. But moving along, man, there's all these countries that are like, if they fuck around over here, it fucks up their relationship over there, and now their economy is fucked in this, that, or the other direction. So it's almost like there's this stalemate of, like, nobody can really do anything just yet until something kind of shakes loose. As far as what's going to shake loose first, for my money, I really think that it's going to be just Israel, you know, on the do whatever the fuck I want program is going to get it here and just fuck everything up for everybody, and they're probably going to be the ones that kick this whole thing off. But the reason I bring it up is because, you know, as much as we sweat the load on, like, yeah, man, war is fucking coming, and you need to save your nickels, and you need to plan ahead, and you got to have some ideas for what am I going to do if shit gets hectic. Yeah, these are all concerns, man. But I would also say that as some of these places start to go to shit, that also gives you a little bump in your dollars American buying power. So generally, I mean, I think you could say, yeah, the American empire is very clearly on the decline. But as far as how soon, how fast, I do think, like a lot of people are saying, a lot of people have said, like, yeah, we've got some time. People are saying that, yeah, we've got some time before it's all the way tits up and this kind of thing. I think they're right, but not for the reason that they think they're right. Like, they think they're right because America is just so, bootstraps. We're going to fucking elbow grease our way out of this shit show. And I don't think anything could be further from the truth, man. I think the degree to which America does well depends largely on the degree to which other countries do badly. And unfortunately, the U.S. is right there trying to make sure that other countries do badly, which, who the fuck knows how that plays out when people decide they've had enough of the bullshit. So to wrap it up, man, I wanted to give a quick movie review on this Civil War movie. I had a chance to sit down and watch this. And so to, I guess, kind of preface it, man, like it got fronted like, man, look at this shit, like it's the predictive programming thing and they want you out there fighting and this kind of shit. And then when it came out, the reviews were like, yeah, this really it wasn't what we were thinking it was going to be. And it kind of lacked. And I didn't get what I wanted out of this or whatever. I watched it and I didn't really have what I'd call expectations. I mean, obviously this was never going to be our guy movie. But I didn't know if this would be like some kind of pro-Antifa, anti-white jackassery or exactly what this was going to be. So I sat down and watched it, man. Even bearing in mind the less than stunning reviews, and I will tell you, man, it was I want to say surprising, but I'll say this: it was a good piece of art. I'll say that because I think we got to keep in mind that film is. I mean, fuck, dude, we do definitely get lost in the sauce on the idea that film is an art medium. Yeah. Like this is, it's not just for propaganda. It's not just to be told that, Israel's the world's greatest victim. It is actually, meant as a piece of art. And as a piece of art, it is very good. I think that, a good piece of art is designed to make you feel a kind of a way. And usually it's in reference to some kind of, point of commonality, like something that we both know about, like a gag we're both in on or something we've both heard of or some kind of a thing. Kind of in the same way that a meme does, like here's referencing that thing. Hey, this is just like that thing. I think a good piece of art does that. And a good piece of art can give you that sensation of, it can be anything. It can be beauty. It could be terror. It could be a song that reminds you of what it's like to be in love or to be lost in a crowd or any of this shit, man. Any of this stuff. A good piece of art this is what it's for, and I think, you say art and people think of this dog shit that they put in museums really just for money laundering purposes. It's like one Coke bottle on a cinder block and look at this. It's this industrial collision with, whatever the fuck. I don't goddamn know. But this is not what I mean by art, dude. I mean like in the traditional European sense, something that makes you feel some kind of a way. So looking at this thing, there were some components of it that I wasn't completely sure where you were going with this or how you arrived at this. And there were some components of it, if you look at a film and you remember that pretty much nothing in here is on accident. Some things you'll see that are like, oh, that's there for me. Like they say, if you see it, it's for you, And there are some things in there for us. If you watch it, there are some things in there for you to see. So the general idea of this movie is that it's about a kind of like early 20s girl. And I'll tell you this, like the kind of Burger King Kids Club that you follow through the movie, it is exactly that. It is like the prototypical American Hollywood. Who knows how it was originally written, but of course the central character is a woman. The other central character is a woman. The the kind of sidekick is the older black dude, and then they threw in a Hispanic dude in his 30s, you know, just probably because some guy might watch the fucking show. Who the fuck knows? And then there's a few Asians here and there, and then all the bad guys are white, of course. The way this played out, though, was that this is a story of a photographer, like a young photographer who links up with this other, older, more experienced war photographer, both of who are chicks, of course, and they're going to go cover the American Civil War. Now, like the premise of this thing was it's Texas and California somehow, and I'm not sure exactly what side is what here, and I think honestly that is almost by design, because it's like it doesn't really fucking matter. All you need to know is that there's sides fighting each other. So why not something totally random? I don't know, Texas and California. Okay, cool. All right, and I almost think that that's the way they did it, so that it's not like, oh, you mean like because of this thing that's going on or that thing? No, man, not because of anything. Just because they're fucking fighting. That's why. Oh, okay. Well, shit. And so throughout this, well, let me give you like the idea of the movie generally. So they're covering like they're going to be covering the takeover of Washington, D.C. By, I'm presuming, these rebel forces, or like I'm not completely sure like what side is what. And I think that's, again, part of the design. But they want to follow along with the military as they take over Washington, D.C. And the whole thing is, it's almost designed like it follows this kind of a structure of like a sort of coming of age, passing of the torch sort of a thing, from old hand to young upstart kind of a thing. So the way this thing kicks off, like it kind of flows through all of these different scenarios, all of these different scenes, where in each scene there's a little something for us. Like there's things that are a little bit out of context, but it's something to remind you of something that's actually happening now. And all of these things being a little bit out of context is why I think that like the Texas and California thing, like it's almost out of a hat, because a lot of these things are things that you'll recognize, but it's not quite in the context of how it worked out or how it actually applied. It's just sort of what's going on, you know, in this movie. So like these two central characters meet when they're filming this I guess rally that turns into a riot, that turns into a bombing. And for the journalists and photographers to identify each other and for the cops to identify them, they all wear yellow vests. So like the imagery you see is like a protest that turns into a riot, and then you see yellow vests running around. So you're like, oh fuck yeah, yellow vests. The fucking Gilets jaunes thing from France, right? And now it moves along, and they're heading to a link-up point in Charlottesville. Before they do that, they all meet up in some hotel, and it's very reminiscent of all the movies you've seen about wartime journalists, because this is, you know, and in this way, I guess I kind of saw this as this is a message from them to them. Like this is really like by media people for media people, and it really comes out as kind of a cautionary tale. But what they're doing then is, before they take off to Charlottesville, to this staging area, again, you know, a reference here, they're all in this bar, and they're all kind of, it's very reminiscent of like everything you've seen, where like, yeah, all the photographers and the war journalists and the correspondents and all this, they all get together after hours, they compare notes and tell stories and this kind of shit. And you're like, wow, it's really reminds me of like, it is like everything you've seen in a movie of like, this is how these people do their war thing, you know, this is their situation. So they take off heading to this staging area at Charlottesville ahead of this final push for DC. And again, like they don't really specify like what exactly is the scene here, like what's going on, what are the sides, what were the instigating factors. And I honestly believe that this was by design, that like this doesn't really matter, and it'll kind of make sense like as I explain this thing. But as they're heading to DC, like the initial talk was like, yeah, we don't even know if we're going to be able to make it, you know, because it's just fucking crazy out there, and we'll just make our way, man, we've done it before, and this kind of thing. But they what the fuck, they take off, and they go through like a series of little encounters. And like in the story, it's like a chronological thing of like you run into these people, you come through these scenes, but in a bigger picture, like in a more abstract sense, it's more like the flow of a civil war, I guess you would say. Like there's kind of a like how they say like history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. You know, so it's that kind of thing. Like there's these stages that they're kind of going through, like levels, if you like. And they just take off and they're talking the whole way. And, you know, like the jaded old photographer, she's like talking to this young upstart about, oh, you don't know shit, man. Fucking, you're going to be in the shit. You don't want to know what I know, bro, and this kind of shit. But they're cruising, and like the first place they come to is this this gas station. They want to stop and get gas, and it's like it's a very stereotypical, like made for TV, like good old boys gas station. Like there's some dudes outside in some trucker hats and they holding guns, and they're like just standing there. It's like a fucking video game. They're like NPCs just standing there, you know. But it's this kind of canned situation where they roll up and they're like, hey, we'd like to get some gas. And they're like, I ain't got no gas for your kind. Like this kind of thing. And they're like, we'll pay you in Canadian dollars. And first I'm like, Canadian dollars? Who the fuck wants Canadian anything, right? Well, you know, nothing against, you know, our leaf bros, you know, Day of the Rake and shit, right? But dude, fucking Canada, what? Come on. But again, this kind of just reinforces the fact that there's not really a rhyme or reason to a lot of this shit. It's like kind of random. Like the focus is on something else, what we're doing here. So they pull up to this gas station and they're like, we'll pay you in Canadian dollars. And this guy's like, all right. So they're going to pay him in Canadian dollars. And while they're pumping this gas, this, you know, young photographer type, she kind of half saunters off with this, you know, the younger redneck type. And it's really this feel of like a first date kind of thing. Like, where's she going with that boy? What's going on over there? What are you doing? What are you getting up to? You're going to have to learn a hard lesson. But now they walk off. And like initially, like your Hollywood brain is thinking like, oh, is this going to be like the white guy raped somebody scene? Because that's what would usually happen. And then, you know, soul brother like no other would have to go pull this redneck, this, you know, uncultured filth off of her or some kind of shit. But it's not that. They walk over here, and this gas station is it's a gas station with a car wash. And in the car wash, they've got these two dudes just hanging there. And the story is like, well, these guys were looters. So we caught them and we hung them. And you're just kind of like, oh, and it's like the artistic side of it is like there's no real flair. There's no real nothing. It's like this stark sledgehammer. And this honestly was like the first time I saw somebody get smoked that was like, there it is, dude. And you're like, that's it? Like there's no music, there's no nothing, there's no grand finale. It's just 1 minute they're there and then they're not. And like pow, like that's it. You're like, is that really it? But that's kind of the sledgehammer of it all. Is it like, fuck, that was easier than I thought, you know? Like there's a lot less to that than was advertised. And that was kind of what this scene does. It was like kabang, like you're in the shit now and you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, wow, like somebody, that's your fucking life's work right there. Like you hanging in a car wash. That's how it ends for you. Like, damn, dude. So that kind of hits you straight away, you know, in an artsy fartsy sort of way. Like here's how it could be, dude. Like it's pretty simple to kick this off. And you know, so they get in the car, and then really nothing comes of that either. Like, yeah, there's some dead guys over there. That's the end of the show. And let's move on to the next scene. So they move on to the next scene, and this is the one that probably most people took notice of because it's I don't know, I want to say like one of the more apparent, like in your face, easiest to recognize type things. And it's this kind of boogaloo situation where there's some uniformed soldiers over there that are clearly American, and there's, you know, Bunny Ears, the Boogaloo Boys, and they got some body armor and they got Hawaiian shirts on. And they're doing this, they're fucking shooting it out, you know, between these two sides here. And instead of, what I noticed here was like some people kind of took it as like, why'd they make it fucking Burger King and Kids Club, you know? Like, why would you, you know, instead of making it all white dudes or all gangsters or all whatever, like it's this grab bag. And I think it was by design. Like, they're not trying to say that, like, this is what happened. This is why this is going on. Here's what's going to kick this off. They're just showing you things you recognize. Like, look, you recognize the yellow vests. You recognize the word Charlottesville. You recognize the Hawaiian shirt or the Aloha shirt, whatever you like. And I think that's what they were going for. So I think in making it like this Burger King Kids Club, like this diverse group of, like, there's a black dude, a white dude, a Hispanic dude. I want to say there was an Asian dude, but I can't remember for sure. But they are in there and they're just shooting it out in this kind of urban situation, like this shot out urban, situation where there's one guy like pinned down behind a pillar. And this was the part that was, well, I looked at who did the military consulting for this, and I'll tell you, like, it's a solid dude and put together some solid work, because there's a realistic fucking feel to this shit, where, like, when you think of urban shootout or urban warfare, and what typically comes to mind is like Black Hawk Down movie, where you're legit running and gunning and shit's blowing up and shit actually looks kind of cool. Like, this had like an extremely, like, painfully realistic feel, where there ain't a lot cool about it, man. There's like one dude kind of stuck pinned down behind this pillar and ends up taking a round and falls down, and somebody's trying to get him and trying to help him, and it's a fucked up scene, man. And you're like, God damn, dude. But it's very obvious though in this scene that, like, here's kind of the insurgent faction, and over here is like the state-backed faction or whatever, and these guys are slugging it out, so almost more like what you would expect in a civil war. And again, in this scene, like, this young photographer chick is kind of getting her footing, but a little bit shaky and a little unsure, and these people that have been at it for a while, they're like, oh, look, see, you gotta be like this, do like that, think like this, and so on. So now they move on, and now as they move on, and now they come to a slightly dicier scene where they pull up and they pull in this kind of wide open area. And in this scene, like, I want to say there's like a car off to the side and some shits, like the feel of it, dude. Like, as much as you can convey in a film, I think, man, I ain't your fucking psychic friends fan club or whatever the fuck, kind of thing. But I'll tell you, dude, there is a fucking vibe out there, dude. And when shit starts to get fucking dicey, you fucking feel it, man. Nothing even had to happen yet, but you fucking know it. And kind of like if you ever worked in maybe the service industry, or as a bouncer or a bartender, or you spent a lot of time out at the clubs or whatever, that fucking feel, man, when some shit's about to kick off and those two motherfuckers over there are about to slug it out, or that guy's about to stab that guy. When some shit's about to go down and somebody's about to get fucking smoked, like, there is a fucking sense of it, dude. And they kind of did they did a good job in this scene, I thought, really portraying, like, that stillness that's like, whoop, like, what the fuck's going on? Something's not right. And they're pulling up in their little press van or whatever, and they're, something's fucking weird here. But then, like, zip, zip, and the fucking rounds start coming. And they're like, oh shit, and they go and fucking run and get out. And now over here to the side, there's this fucking sniper team. And they just kind of accept it that, like, hey, they're shooting at you and they're shooting at us, we must be cool. And they roll up, and it's like this kind of weird exchange, but it does kind of convey the weirdness of the way shit can get downrange. And they pull up and they go running up, and there's this sniper team hiding beside this building, and they kind of stumble upon them, and they're like, hey, what the fuck's going on? We don't want any trouble. We're just reporters. And the guy, like, the spotter looking over the shooter's shoulder is like, yeah, that would explain the word press in big letters on your van. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess so. And they're like, what the fuck's going on over here? And the guy goes, well, there's some people over there trying to kill us, and we're trying to kill them. And I was like, fuck, dude. That, like not like reading into it, man. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Because, dude, when I was downrange, and there you'd hear talk from the nerds, and you hear talk from the intel dweebs, and they'd talk about, like, oh, well, this faction and that tribe, and these guys are Sunni, but those guys are Shia. Motherfucker, like, it don't matter. At some point, it just don't matter. Everybody is willing to kill you if it moves their train a little ways down the tracks. And like it kind of zooms in on this sniper pair, and there's like, they look very, you know, regimented and military, but then the dude taking the shots, he's got like fucking painted fingernails, and he's got part of his hair dyed kind of wacky colors and shit, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like like the lines start to blur, like you're not sure who's on what side. Like, are you guys like the insurgent faction, or are you guys like state sanctioned, or what? Like, it don't fucking matter, man. Those guys over there are trying to shoot at us, and we're trying to shoot at them. That's all you really need to know. And that's where the worm starts to turn, and then it's like, oh, okay. You know, and you start to feel at this point like where this little reporter girl, whatever the fuck, photographer girl, is like slipping into this role, like sliding into this vibe, if you will. And the guy's like, zap, takes the shot, and then that's the end of it. Like, there's no more repercussions. Just like the guy hanging in the car wash, like, yeah, the shit that you would think should lead to something else, or should be like, here's more to it. Like, there's no more to it, man. That's all there fucking is. There's just those guys trying to shoot us, and I'm trying to shoot them. And check out the color I dyed my hair. Fucking great, isn't it? You're like, holy fuck, dude, this is Bizarro World. But then from there is when it, like, you could tell the consulting, like, it's, how can I say, dude, I had to read about this shit. I had heard it a few times, and then I had to look it up, and you could look it up yourself. And the phrase is, see the elephant. And there was I believe, if I'm remembering right, this is a term from the English, that like, if you had been to war, like, you had gone and seen the elephant. Where like they'd talk about like having a zoo exhibit in town, and like you wouldn't believe it unless you fucking see it. And the elephant, it's fucking huge, it's this thing, and you can hear about it and you can read about it and this shit, but until you go see the fucking elephant, you can't completely appreciate it. And this you know, obviously is like the fucking feel, man. The feel that the dude that consulted on this was like, you're seeing into the fucking rabbit hole, that weird fucking feel. Like, and if you watch it and you're like, well, that's trippy, but I don't know if that's the shit, dude. It's fucking there. So when they depart there, you know, they depart this scene with this sniper team, and that's the end of that, man. Like, and now you're moving on. But from there is when it gets really fucking wacky. And they're driving along, and now they happen to see somebody that they knew. Like, they see some other pair of reporters, like some Asian dudes or some shit. And again, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like, you just run into people you know? You wouldn't fucking believe it. I mean, war is like another world, dude. And I have actually done this where, like, I legit stepped out the back of a safe house carrying some shit, helping somebody move some shit. Step out the back of this safe house, and I run into this guy that left the community, like, got all pissed off and got out at 17 years, like 3 years short of retirement, got all pissy, got all poopy butt, and was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. And he fucking leaves, and we all thought that he moved to Thailand and was living out of the back of a trailer or in the basement of a hotel or something. And I step out the back of this place in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, and here's this bipolar motherfucker, and he's like, hey, what's up, man? And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing alive? And that's all I could think to say. It's like, what the fuck are you doing alive? And he's like, oh, fuck, man, I got this contract gig. It's fucking sweet, bro. Like, I make $1,000 a day. And I'm like, you motherfucker. But this shit happens, man. Weird shit in weird places. And that really came across as this film moved along. But so these people are driving along. They leave this scene with this sniper pair, and they're cruising along. And now, what do you know? They run into some couple of guys that they know, and they're fucking around on the road, and they're trying to go like car to car. I'm in your car, bro. I'm gonna jump into your car while we're moving. And again, like, crazy shit goes on, dude. But they're cruising, and the guy jumps into the other car, and they're bullshitting, and then like, hey man, where did your friend go? I don't see him up ahead no more. And they're like, I don't know, he should be up there somewhere. But they keep driving along, and now they see his car like off to the side, and they're like, what the fuck's going on? And they get out and they go over there, and then now this is the scene that we all recognize, that us, you know, we all recognize from, like, oh yeah, that's that fucking movie. And it's that, what kind of 420 enjoyer are you, fucking guy? And it's you know, if you haven't seen or you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, this is where they roll up there, and there's that guy, and he's got like camouflage on and red sunglasses, obviously blonde dude because he's like super villain, and he's holding, a gun with no gadgets on it. And obviously, obviously they understand, like, when they wrote this, like, what military shit looks like, what genuinely military shit functions like. I just saw you with you got a sniper pair out here, you've got a whole lot of things I see that are like, yeah, you understand what you're doing. But this is clearly more like, this is for artistic interpretation, what this guy is. So now when you take a closer look at him, he's a guy, he's got his camouflage shit on, he's just holding the big black rifle. That's it, just the big black rifle. And he's got these red sunglasses on, and the people, he gets all these reporters and photographers and shit all rounded up, and they're like, bro, it's cool, we're Americans. And he's like, yeah, okay. What kind of American are you? And they're like, what? Like, oh shit, like, shit just got hectic. Like, I don't know, it's a trick question. Like, oh bro, we're Muslim. What kind of Muslim? Oh fuck, like, it's down the fucking rabbit hole. And now when I look at this, through artsy fartsy vision, suddenly it makes sense that, like, the angry blonde dude, the big black rifle, and the rose colored glasses. I get it. Because this guy is not on a side. This guy is not the government. This guy is not fighting for he rights or his land or any of that shit. This guy is just here to burn motherfuckers down. This is your war criminal motherfucker. And he is wearing these rose-colored glasses because he is right where he wants to be. It is his time to shine, and he is performing at his fucking best. And the only way these cats get out of it, these reporter cats, these photographers and shit, is Soul Brother like no other, as you might imagine, is in the SUV and comes a hauling ass and runs over the guy. Again, like, how did you not see a black dude in an SUV hauling ass across the land headed straight for you, right? That's not really the point. This is artsy fartsy. So a black guy running over somebody in an SUV, it's not really, I don't think, meant to choose a side. It's just meant to illustrate a dynamic that, like, look, this is what's at the bottom of this rabbit hole, is a guy in rose-colored glasses, bulldozer, and dead bodies into a fucking ditch. Your little reporter take of, bro, I just observe and report, that's all I do. You're going to have to pick. You're going to either have to pick a side or don't pick a side, but you staying in one piece is not just going to happen on its own. And that's where I think this starts to turn into a for us by us thing, as media people. This is where they're kind of saying, like, look, man, this shit kind of follows a pattern, and you can say you want to report, you want to just, be here, but at some point this shit can reach out and snatch you. So have your head on a fucking swivel. So they escape this guy. And, Soul Brother, like no other, runs over him with an SUV. That's the end of that. They get away. He shoots a couple dudes. He shoots the Asian dudes, I think. They run over that guy. They get in the car. They haul ass. And now they make it to Charlottesville for this final push into D.C. And again, like, you don't know whose side is what side. I don't know what the fucking sides exactly are, because I don't think this is about that, really. But Hispanic dude is talking about, like, yeah, I just need to get a quote, man. I just need to get a quote. I need something, that I can print. And he's referencing, like, Mussolini. He's referencing deposed dictators. I think they referenced Ceausescu at one point. And so he's just saying, yeah, man, I just got to get a quote from him. So they're cruising along, and now it's what can I say? To look at them and to listen to them, looking at the force that actually makes the push, into, like, the White House, if you will. The force that's actually making the push in here, this is clearly meant to be a special ops capable force, at least, just by the way they're presented, by the way they've got all their shit, their helmet. Sleeves rolled up is... I ain't giving away trade secrets here. This is like a very spec ops personality thing, and I can't honestly explain it, man. It's just a way that it is. I think it's because, the Army, I know they're all about, like big Army, they want you having your sleeves rolled down, and they'll tell you it's about chem bio, they'll tell you 1,000 different fucking things. They just want your fucking sleeves rolled down. I can't fucking explain it. I won't try to, but I will tell you that when you get all fucking sweaty, that your sleeves will get all sweaty and they will sag down to your fucking hands, and you won't like that shit. So I know that when we're out training, you know, or when I was out training, you're out hustling and putting out, dudes would always have their sleeves rolled up a little bit. And I noticed this in this thing. I'm like, oh, with the sleeves, like, oh, it's us, you know? But they also had these like overt red, white, blue flag patches, which I was like, that's a little odd. Like, I have seen Spec Ops crews rock that, but most guys will rock it just on the front of their body armor. Like, and again, that's like dealer's choice a lot of times when you're doing that shit. So these guys are making this push, and now as they're moving room to room, and there's like some cat and mouse that goes on, trying to roll up, like, where is the president, because they want to roll up the president. And there's some cat and mouse with, you know, is he in that car? There's an up-armored car that just took off. But as they're moving towards this target, this younger girl is like ducking and jiving, and she's like using cover, using shadows, like shoot, move, and communicate. She's like better in here, and I think this is meant to convey like she's found her groove, like she's in the vibe, she's fucking doing her thing. The other, like the senior, you know, the one that she's like taking over from, is like feeling like she loses a step, you know. And then there's one part that sort of hints at it earlier on as they're moving out there. They go through this thrift store and she's looking at this dress, and she comes off like very dykey, you know, but she's looking at this dress and like it's like she's hearkening back to like what I could have been. Like, there's, you know, a lot of what you could have been, you know, a nice lady in a nice dress, maybe with a family or some shit, but instead, you know, you decided to be a dyke with a camera, and now here you are. But you kind of sense that feel of regret as this thing progresses, and now here's this young photographer is like hustling and shooting and moving and like fucking fearless, and they're moving up and they're moving into the White House, I guess it is. And as they're moving in here, like, senior photographer girl, she's just not feeling it, man, and like kind of scared and ducking, and the fucking crew rolling in here to try to roll up Eagle One or whatever, to roll up the president. There, all of these techniques and all of these calls and shit, you're like, yes, this is absolutely a fucking meant to be a Spec Ops force. But they're, again, Burger King Kids Club, which again I think is meant to convey that, not like, oh look, we can do it too, but meant to be like, we're not saying that this is a race-based thing, we're just saying this is a thing that fucking happens. Like, if it was Lego Men, it couldn't have been any clearer, you know. So they roll in there and they're making like final entry, like down the final hall to snatch the big man, like approaching the final boss, you know. And all of a sudden the senior photographer girl, like, the shit's going on, and she steps in front of the wrong fucking doorway, which, like I said, you don't do that shit. Zap, zap, zap. And junior photographer girl, like, catches it on film, like kind of her predecessor falling, like, bam, getting clipped. And to me, I thought this was, I don't think they did this or completely on purpose, maybe, I don't know, but there is this thing that like, it's like riding a tiger. Like, you gotta fucking hang on tight, dude, and you can't be thinking about some other shit. And the minute you fucking get caught slipping, like, that's your fucking ass, dude. You gotta be all in or none in. And this was like that split second where, like, zap, and now you're fucking gone, and it's the guy behind you now, or in this case, you know, the young upstart girl power fucking diversity shoehorn is stepping in and taking your place. But so, you know, that senior chick is gone, torch is passed, and now they've got the big man rolled up, and it's like this white dude and a black chick, and they're gonna fucking smoke him. And Mexican photographer or Mexican reporter dude is like, wait, and goes in there and he's like, I need a quote, and they flip him over, and he's like, please don't let him kill me. And he's like, that'll do, and leaves, and they're like, fap, go hot, and just burn the guy down. But you know, obviously the president was a white dude, and I don't know, I think if they had made the president a black dude, it would have been like, oh, that's meant to be Obama. If they made it a woman, they would have been like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid. There's never been a woman president. What am I looking at? So it's almost like you had to make the president a white dude just to convey in an artistic sense that, like, it's the president, dickhead. It's final boss. It's got to be this. But I think in the takeaway then, you know, that's really where the movie ends. Like, you know, and the cycle continues. But all in all then, kind of what I took away from this was like, this was not meant to be like a documentary. This was not meant to be like a here's how it could go down. This to me came across more, I guess, as like a cautionary tale for those people in the media, in the observe and report, in the like, I see everything, I know what's going on. Well, if you know, then be aware of this shit, that like this shit is coming, this shit can suck you down the rabbit hole, and at the bottom of this rabbit hole, way past the fucking Hawaiian shirts and painted fingernails, is a motherfucker in rose-colored glasses, and you don't want any fucking part of that. So to me, that was what I took away from this. So in that sense, as art goes, whether you completely agree with it or whether you agree with my take or not, you think fucking coffee's retarded, that's also very possible. But whether you think it's whether you think it's a message you could agree with or a message you could get behind or a message that's relevant or accurate or any of that shit, I did at the end of the day think it was good art. So for that, I can at least appreciate it. In spite of the shoehorned girl power characters and the diversity hire bullshit. I mean, it's almost like you have to put on your fucking USSR decoder ring to try to, see through that shit, because otherwise you're not going to be able to watch anything. But, yeah, sorry it took so long to get this episode out, man. It's been a motherfucker of a week. But, in any case, at least it's out now, so here it is. You take, you enjoy. But until next time, man, you can catch me on, next time, I'm not going to try to figure it out right now. I'll figure out what my social bullshit media accounts are, and if you want to hassle me there, then you can. But until then, you keep your eyes on the horizon, keep your neck out of the noose. I have been Coffee, and these are my takes.